I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness.
Jimmy Swaggart was once a prominent figure in televangelism, known for spreading the gospel through sermons, gospel music, and a vast media empire. Yet his ministry has been plagued by scandals and controversy. Let's take a look at his early life, rise to fame, and the events that led to his eventual downfall. Early life and humble beginnings. Born on March 15, 1935, in Faraday, Louisiana, Jimmy Lee Swaggart was raised in a deeply religious and musical environment. His father, a Pentecostal preacher and fiddle player, and his mother, who hailed from a southern sharecropping family, surrounded him with faith and music. His cousins, Jerry Lee Lewis and Mickey Gilley, would go on to achieve fame in the music world. Swaggart, however, chose a different direction, committing himself to spreading the gospel. By age 17, Swaggart had married Frances Anderson, and they faced difficult financial circumstances. They frequently lived in church basements or low-cost hotels, relying on a small income. Still, Swaggart stayed focused on his mission as an evangelist. He even turned down a lucrative offer from Sam Phillips of Sun Records, deciding to pursue his spiritual calling rather than follow his cousins into the music business. The early ministry and rise to fame. Swaggart officially began his ministry in 1955 with modest resources, a donated flatbed trailer, and a mission to spread the gospel throughout the southern United States. His emotional preaching style, combined with his musical abilities, gained him a growing audience. He started recording gospel music in the 1960s and utilized Christian radio to broaden his outreach. By 1961, he was ordained by the Assemblies of God, providing formal recognition for his ministry. In the late 1960s, he established the Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which became the central hub of his operations. He expanded into television in 1971, launching a weekly show that quickly gained popularity. By the end of the 1970s, Swaggart had developed a considerable media empire, encompassing both radio and television broadcasts that reached millions of people. The 1980s, peak and scandal. Swaggart reached the pinnacle of his success in the 1980s. His TV programs were broadcast on over 250 stations, and his ministry brought in millions of dollars annually. At its peak in 1987, his ministry reportedly generated $150 million each year, largely from donations. However, in 1986, problems surfaced when Swaggart accused fellow evangelist Marvin Gorman of infidelity, leading to Gorman's removal from the Assemblies of God. In retaliation, Gorman sought to expose Swaggart's own indiscretions. This culminated in 1988 when Gorman discovered Swaggart with a prostitute, Deborah Murphy, in a New Orleans motel. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe to Golden Throwback for more content like this. Now, let's get back to it. The scandal and confession. In February 1988, Swaggart's secret came to light, shocking the evangelical community. Days after the revelations, Swaggart made a tearful confession on national television, famously saying, "I have sinned." Despite his emotional apology, the Assemblies of God suspended him from ministry for 2 years and eventually revoked his credentials. Although his public apology was moving, it wasn't enough to restore his standing. The scandal severely damaged his ministry, causing many followers to leave, staff to be laid off, and a sharp reduction in his media presence. The second fall and further controversies. Even after his public confession and efforts to rebuild, Swaggart's troubles continued. In 1991, he was embroiled in yet another scandal when he was caught with another prostitute, Rosemary Garcia. This time, Swaggart showed little remorse. When questioned by his congregation, he infamously replied, "The Lord told me it's none of your business." This incident further diminished his reputation, and he stepped down from his leadership role, leaving many of his duties to his son Donnie. Adding to the controversies was his ministry's alleged involvement with the Mozambican National Resistance, a rebel group accused of war crimes during Mozambique's civil war. Reports that Swaggart Ministries had provided financial support to the group raised serious ethical concerns and further tarnished his reputation. Rebuilding and the present. Despite these significant setbacks, Jimmy Swaggart has managed to maintain his ministry. During the 1990s, he founded Jimmy Swaggart Ministries and launched the Sun Life Broadcasting Network, a Christian TV channel that operates 24 hours a day. Although he is no longer associated with the Assemblies of God, Swaggart continues to preach at the Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge, and his programs are still broadcast worldwide. His son Donnie and grandson Gabriel have stepped into leadership positions, ensuring the Swaggart legacy continues into the fourth generation. Swaggart's Bible College, which was founded in 1984, faced a dramatic decline after his scandals, leading to restructuring efforts. Nevertheless, Swaggart remains a presence in Christian broadcasting, continuing to spread his message through platforms like Sun Life Radio and television. A legacy of triumph and tragedy. The story of Jimmy Swaggart is a complicated one, filled with both major accomplishments and significant personal failures. On the one hand, he is recognized for revolutionizing televangelism, using TV and radio to bring his message to millions. His philanthropic efforts, including support for orphanages and disaster relief, along with his contributions to gospel music, are notable. Swaggart's albums have received Grammy nominations and Dove Awards, solidifying his impact on Christian music. However, his legacy is equally defined by the scandals that devastated his ministry. The moral transgressions he admitted to, but struggled to rise above, highlight the challenges that even the most visible religious figures can face. Despite the controversies, Swaggart's perseverance in continuing his ministry, albeit on a smaller scale, speaks to his enduring faith and commitment. Ultimately, Swaggart's life serves as a cautionary tale of ambition, influence, and redemption. His dramatic fall and the difficult process of rebuilding his ministry show the difficulties of living up to the high moral standards expected of religious leaders, especially those in the public eye. His story continues to spark discussions on the topics of forgiveness, responsibility, and the complexities of human behavior. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Swaggart's controversial life and ministry? Feel free to share them in the comments below.